Welcome to the
Kiki
and Cowboy Misadventures podcast. I did it again. Welcome to the Misadventures of
Kiki
and Cowboy. That's the proper intro. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing, Kiki?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Tell me more about that.
Well,
You're doing well.
You did a terrific lead into the thing that you didn't know I was going to talk about.
Correct.
You're looking at me so skeptically. You're like, what have I just walked into?
Side eye of confusion.
What is happening? I just thought I would reveal to the entire listening audience some information that I revealed to you.
That was personal.
Just a few days ago.
Oh, yeah, well, that.
In the grocery store, when you came to a complete halt in your walk. You just stopped. I continued walking a few steps past you, and
was it about the soggy raisin bran?
And you said you made this decision without consulting us, me, we,
the unprovoked, unprompted, unscripted prohibition.
It is.
So Kiki Kiki has given up wine and other libations for 45 days.
45 days.
Long days.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Is that a fortnight?
And I don't have a problem.
Yeah. She doesn't have a problem.
Surely not, even though I can't give it up.
The problem that would warrant...
The problem is you guys are going to have the problem. I won't have the problem.
She's a room full of people. Hi, Kiki. So she doesn't have that problem. She's trying to be a healthier person, right? Something like that?
Well, yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. It was, I
gave up eating crayons, but that was when I was 4.
When you were 4.
Yeah.
Did it work out for you?
I don't know.
Did you, though? Did you actually give it up?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that artificial coloring might have done me some good.
Right? It might have. Yeah. No, it's just part of, the gym that I'm a part of, does these 45-day challenges periodically. And I wanted to make some additional gains, with a Z on it.
Couldn't they just make it 4 to 5 days?
Right?
Can you start off small?
Right? I know. So
a month is a long time. A month and a half.
A month and a half
is longer than a month.
When you look at the dates, it feels like 45 days. I'm like, okay, I can do 45 days. And then it said the dates on it, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's a long time.
That's at the end of the summer almost.
So yeah, like May 20th to July the 2nd.
That's
crazy. Forever.
Well, at least you're back. You're back among the drunkards by the celebration.
By the celebration,
Independence Day.
I will probably. I don't know. 45 days is enough time that maybe. What if I just spontaneously after 45 days? I don't think that's
become a cheap date.
Like possible, but.
I'm so drunk.
Yeah. What if I just decide that I'm not going to do it at all anymore?
Yeah, that's
wow. That would be weird.
I'm
one of those people. So I grew up. I'm curious about your family, but
I knew you're one of those people.
I grew up. My dad was British and my mom is American. And I grew up with it very common. My parents had a bottle of wine. They split a bottle of wine every night. So they each
drank half a bottle.
Yeah, but that's 2 glasses. If you think about it, a bottle.
That is the secret to a healthy marriage for
a fun one
for people from across the pond.
That was just totally commonplace to me, right?
That's good diplomacy.
And but if you think about that, that's 4 glasses of wine in a bottle, approximately. Maybe a generous pour on four glasses. 2 glasses of wine, in my estimation, is not crazy. Now, what was interesting was as I was a teen and I would go to other people's houses as you do, and you start learning what is no longer in your bubble and sphere, right? It broadens your view and you go, whoa, your parents don't have a bottle of wine out? Like they're not drinking a bottle of wine? And so then I had some friends who were like, your parents are alcoholics. I was like, they're not alcoholics.
They just drink half a bottle of wine every night.
Can you imagine though? Like, that's a lot of money. I'm just thinking like they had reasonable taste. Like
unless
my
it was
parents,
Boone's or something.
No, my parents were not like reunity, $2 Chuck
Did
from
they try it
Trader
on
Joe's,
ice?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, like they're drinking some. Now, I would also say I don't think they were at the time like accounting for inflation and whatnot, right? Like I don't.
It's hard.
I don't think they were $50 bottle of wine.
Right.
Either. Like, I don't think it was that.
They would be now, but back then they were,
even then, I don't think it was 50.
Gotcha.
That was pretty
That's
generous.
back when you could buy
a
car for $500.
Yeah.
A good one.
A house, too.
Yeah, a house, yes. The combo.
Yeah. So anyway, I have, it took me a long time before I liked wine, but then when I started to like it, I just have a single glass pretty much every night with dinner.
And she seems happily married.
And I seem happily married. Dun, dun. Right. And then, an occasional cocktail.
May 20th, things started to go right.
Right. Yeah. May 20th. That's when the screeching breaks. Actually, I made it a couple of days without you noticing. And it was a few days later.
I knew something was different.
Was I testy?
No, just.
You're like,
I just noticed that at dinner, I was like, normally there's a thing she does.
She's drinking this liquid that I've never seen her actually have that is water.
It looks like water.
Yeah, now I will say, so
I thought it was a budget thing. You're like, I'm just cutting back on the budget.
No, I wanted to make a few gains in certain areas, or maybe losses, as it were. And I was really of the opinion that I was like, one glass of wine, like, is it really going to make that big of a difference? And I've got to say, I'm really disappointed to say I'm sleeping so much better.
Oh, so it does have a positive impact.
It does. And I'm so sad about that.
Well, after 45 days, maybe you consider, and one, I want to applaud you for your commitment.
I'm going to try.
Always
I have,
very proud of my
I have
Kiki.
cheated a little here and there, but and by that I mean, like, I think for one special night, I had a glass of wine at my mom's house.
But that was a very special bottle and a celebration of sorts.
And so I had one glass, and then maybe a sip or two of something, but
that doesn't constitute falling off the wagon.
Like, that's not,
But I'm proud of you, and you're seeing good results. Maybe.
So far, I actually am, which is really unfortunate because I was hoping I could come back and be like, see, it didn't make a difference. I'll just go back to my old ways.
Well, I propose when the 45 days is expired,
yes,
we start trying.
Do you give it up now, too?
No. Oh, gosh, no. But I propose after 45 days, we say, why don't we start the day with a glass of wine?
Oh.
And see what happens.
Oh, that's an even better idea.
That might be
that will improve my perforance at work.
Possibly.
Tenfold.
Well, we won't.
Or
you
negative
don't
tenfold.
know until you try.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe so. Okay, well, I'm just saying that's on the table.
Well, it's improved my sleep, giving it up, I will say. And I am actually reaching for water
more often
than I was. So, and I'm kind of like a camel. I don't drink a lot of water. I'm not really thirsty.
I was going to say something about the humps.
The humps. What's the name of the camel that has two humps?
Yes, she spits at me when she's angry.
Make me. I do. Yeah. I do. So that, or I'll become a raisin like when I'm 93.
Magda.
So, I'm Magda from
something
about Mary.
Yeah,
that's
her and the captain.
Oh
that's
my God,
actually that's
totally
us. We need to get a third floor apartment that overlooks everything.
Yes.
And a sniper rifle or something. But apparently, so today's podcast is about.
Nice segue.
Yes, segue.
It's brought to you by
Cue the farm cows.
Not a bottle of wine.
Not any bottle of wine. I think we're talking about what is it, Kiki? Remind me.
I have called this one, at least for the moment, Dot's Big Adventure.
Dot's Big Adventure.
So would you like to tell everybody who Dot is?
So Dot is, we have two giant tortoises. We say
You've
giant.
You've probably heard about it on the other
Dot
podcast.
And Dash, and they are sulcutas, which is the third largest species of tortoise. They're
infants.
They're infants.
They're toddlers.
They're 5, and Dot now.
And they will live to be 1,000,000.
They'll live to be 75 to 100 and plus, depending on how well they're cared for. And right now, they're very well cared for, with one minor exception. Apparently, we're going to talk about that today. But Dot she's beautiful. She's a beautiful sulcutta, and
As beautiful as a tortoise could be.
Yes, and I think she's gorgeous, and she has. She's approaching, I believe, about 70 pounds now. So she's about the size of a car spare tire, or approaching that. Yep. Basically one of those car donuts.
Maybe a small ottoman that somebody would put their feet on.
Yes, she's approaching that. So she would not take kindly to being used as such.
Her circumference.
So let's set the table. So set the table.
Set the table.
Yeah, let's set this.
Indeed, we're making dinner. Everybody.
It was a transition from it was an ottoman segue.
It's on the wine.
Yeah, it was a piece of furniture. It was a furniture segue. So let's set the stage then.
Yes. So in a previous episode, we talked about
the Vegas trip.
A trip that we took to Vegas.
Yes, with the Brits.
And we talked about all of the interesting antics, one of which was that Vegas, the hotel, the MGM hotel chain was hacked, and they were being held ransom.
And we were at the Luxor.
And we happened to be at the Luxor at the same time, not knowing until several days into the trip, through a circumstance of things. You guys will have to go back and listen to that story. But on the second day I want to say it was.
We're at the pool.
So we're going to set the stage for that. We're going to go to
Two teenagers remained here at the house.
Yes.
We're at the pool. And
I think we had literally just walked into the pool, maybe sat down.
We live in Texas. We're vacationing way over in Las Vegas.
And it was like the fall, early fall.
It was September?
Early fall, September, October,
late
something
September,
like that. So it was gorgeous weather.
It was actually
it wasn't blazing hot, but it was warm enough.
It was perfect for a pool.
It really was.
Just the right. And we got a notification.
Yeah, so on
our phones.
So my daughter, my youngest daughter, is quite vigilant about certain things, usually safety related. She's my more anxious child, so she's real vigilant on that. And I get a text message from her, and she had seen a thread on the Ring app. So like the neighborhood. Yep. So like if you have a Ring, then you're part of the neighborhood group.
This is a doorbell.
Yeah, like the doorbell service.
It's a system, not a wearable.
Right. And so she's like, I can't even believe she was watching the app enough or paying attention enough to even notice. She sees something come across, a post comes across on the thread, and it alarms her. And so she immediately alerts you and I think it was, she sent it to me actually, but knowing that you would get it.
You, who then immediately alerted me.
Well, and I thought it was odd.
It was
because it's an interesting post that you don't normally see.
Well, and another thing had happened when we left. I just asked the kids. This is before we.
That's right. Okay.
Before we installed the exterior camera so we can watch the tortoises.
Yeah, we did not have a camera outside yet.
No, but now we do.
We don't do now.
We watch that a lot, but so I had asked the kids. I said, just twice a day, I just need y'all to check for proof of life. I just need to make sure you put eyes on the tortoises, that they are actually there.
Why were you concerned about that? Why would most people would be like, why would you need to put eyes on a tortoise? I mean,
they are escape artists, and so cuttas are very, very strong diggers and escape artists. And if you go too long without checking on them, they may not be there.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise.
Tell.
When our daughter checked the app, it just so happened to coincide with, the instruction was, well, okay, would you mind just to be sure, would you check the backyard? And guess what?
No tortoise.
One of the tortoises was there.
And one was not.
One was nowhere to be found. And the instruction was simply, okay, well, I was concerned that they weren't looking hard enough because I mean they may be hard to see. They somewhat blend. They're big, but they may blend with say the back fence or something. Just the angle might be bad.
Sure, or they do like to hide under the bay window.
And teenagers are not known for their thoroughness necessarily, so they might have just glanced around, saying or maybe
we
they're
actually
there.
have a hutch back there,
Yeah,
so
there
might
are
not have opened up the hutch to look
obstructions.
inside,
Yep.
right? So there was a chance assumptions were made.
Yeah, that there
right,
was something.
by the teenagers.
But then I insisted, and then they discovered that the gate was open.
Yes. So the side gate that we very rarely open happened to be open.
It was ajar.
You were pretty confident that you had closed it and that the latch had
I'm confident about a lot of things.
Caught, but it was a very windy day, if I recall.
Absolutely could have blown open.
So there's a chance that if it hadn't caught properly, it could have blown open.
Correct.
And this is all coincidentally around the same time that she sees a post on the ring.
Yes.
Which is, drum roll please,
A loose turtle.
a loose tortoise.
Loose. I think they said turtle though.
Oh, they did say turtle.
And there were and it coincided with another crazy coincidence. It coincided with a coincidence. That's an interesting.
I know.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how we. I
like
did
to
the same thing.
Stream words strung together. But we have a friend. We won't say her name. We'll call
Across
her
the street.
Bernice. She'll love that.
Bernice?
Why not? That's fun. Yeah.
We're not friends with a Bernice.
Well, her real name rhymes with.
I don't know. Dead silence.
Elvis.
We're both sitting here
Yes.
thinking, how does it rhyme with something?
Well,
anyway.
Yeah.
So we do have some friends that are less than a mile away,
0.6 miles.
live across the street,
Yeah. They're the
neighborhood.
the next neighborhood over.
Right.
Walking distance.
and
she, as a joke, right?
yes,
It was a joke.
she saw the same post in one of the neighborhood apps that's not Ring, and as a joke sends it to us,
completely
saying, "Ha ha ha!
coincidental.
Your
She's
tortoise
just
got
being
out."
funny. Yep.
And
because she knew we were nervous about leaving.
yes, so
that situation.
we're getting a call from the teenager that they don't have eyes on the tortoise. We get a joke forward of a post about a turtle on the loose,
Indicating
right?
that the tortoise could be really far away.
Yeah. It seemed like maybe it was.
The search area has increased just by the joke.
Yes.
Which didn't feel like a joke at the time.
No, it did not. And then my daughter sees the same or similar post in the Ring app. And
there are comments started now.
And the comments, well, and she sends us that post as well. And you put eyes on this picture, and in less than 30 seconds,
I knew it was Dot.
You were like,
"That's Dot.
That's Dot.
Yep.
I know.
That's
my tortoise. How did she get out?
Yep.
Like you just knew.
Yep.
Size, shape, whatever
Panicked.
it was,
I
didn't
panicked.
matter. You did. You were like,
Mainly because at
you
the
nearly
same time,
hyperventilated.
because I was reading the comments and one person suggested, see, all tortoises are turtles, but not the other way. Tortoises do not swim.
Tortoises are part of the turtle family.
Yes, they prefer not to swim. And one of the comments was, just go put it back at the pond.
Throw it into the pond.
And I was panicked because I've seen the memes where people throw tortoises into the water and they sink like a brick.
Yes.
They die.
They do.
And I was scared for that.
They do.
And
they can swim, but they have to
be prepared to do so.
They inflate their lungs.
Yeah, it's like us. It's like
and
if you're thrown into something where you haven't sucked in some wind, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So they will be, because they are heavy, so they'll be at the bottom of
they are
and
dense.
so we start reading through all these comments, which as we could track it backwards, the nearest we could tell, she was missing since the day before.
Possibly.
The evening before, within a couple of hours of us leaving.
Probably so.
Like somehow she
just emancipated.
She got out and she was like,
just grazing.
This is, and I can only imagine because, and this is the funny part. Like you think tortoises, everybody talks about tortoises being slow, and it's true. You don't see them running across the yard, but they are amazingly quick.
Yes. When determined, they will move and you'll blink and where did they go?
And they're gone.
Yeah.
And you do lose them in your backyard. We literally have nothing in our backyard. There's no
and they're
trees.
still hard
there's
to
no
find because they move across it
bushes.
so
There's
quickly.
no anything.
Yeah.
And they move quick enough that they were in one spot a second ago. You glance back and you're like,
Yep.
where did they go?
Whip head left, whip head right. No idea.
Where did it go?
Yep.
So I imagine, I can just picture her because we have our yard divided, right? And they love the grass, and that side gate blows open, and she is just like,
Eyes
you
wide
have been
open.
holding out on me.
All
What
this
is
grass
all
was
this
available?
grass? And then I can just picture her like going across
Yep.
all the lawns.
She crossed the street.
She crossed the street. She didn't get hit by a car
Thank
because
goodness.
we're on the corner. So people do,
Like a half cul-de-sac,
yeah,
basically.
kind of people do whip around there
They sure do.
because it's kind of a blind corner.
She's a heck of a speed bump. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would have been just so terrible.
Suspension damaging.
Yeah, suspension damaging for sure. That is not like any
Would have
small.
broke my heart and damaged someone's.
Oh my gosh, she would have been devastated.
Definitely have to get an alignment.
Oh, you were having such a hard time.
I was a bit stressed in Vegas.
You were really stressed. And then, of course, we're reading all the comments.
Not
So,
like the
again, the
craps
comments indicated she gotten out the day before.
Yeah.
The people very generously posted, here's our contact information.
Well, because one person did say that is definitely someone's pet.
Oh, that's
Those
right.
are not common. You know.
Yes. Somebody recognized that it was not
that is not a turtle that
common red-eared slider.
that's
like
down because we do have a pond in our neighborhood and it has a lot of turtles, but not that look like this.
Yes.
So,
And so, you just get this string of post and post and post and post. And we're trying to figure out, actually, I don't know. I can't remember if the person actually had their contact information or not. I think I had to kind of try to send a message
through
the app somehow, because I think they didn't actually post their cell phone or anything. And so I'm frantically trying to figure out how to get in touch with this person.
Yes.
And in fact, I think our daughter reached out in some way. She's quite resourceful. She is.
Jinx.
And so she did somehow was able to reach out in some way and get some kind of contact information or something. I don't know how that worked exactly. I can't remember now, but I'm frantically leaving voicemails and text messages and not getting any response.
Kiki had my back. She could tell I was panicking.
Oh yeah, you were. And so I was scrambling.
Very concerned.
Well, I was actually really concerned about, our pool day because it was cutting into the
this is running our pool day. Let's get this solved.
Hurry up here. I want to get to the little umbrella drinks and having fun out by the pool.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was worried about you. I knew you were worried about her.
Rolls eyes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And so it turns out she was not as far away as our neighbor's funny post had indicated.
She wasn't half a mile away. She
thank
was
goodness.
How many doors down?
She was about 3 doors down on the opposite side of the street because we crossed over, so it's a little further.
And they have it's a household with 2 little kids who are actually very kind, and they named her
Cheeto.
They named her Cheeto. I dare not ask why. I can only presume that they were feeding her Cheetos.
I think that they wanted to feed her Cheetos is what it was.
And, ideally, a parent intervened and they started feeding her lettuce.
I think the family who found her discovered her in the front yard, grazing on their grass, and they were like, "Oh, well, where did you come from?" All of a sudden,
it had to be a surprise. Yeah,
and so they very kindly took her into the backyard.
We need to have those kids come visit.
We do.
Air quote Cheeto.
We do, yeah. And of course, the other part of the reason that you were so nervous, not just that she was gone and could be injured, lost, any of that stuff, but you were quite nervous that there would be an HOA infraction.
Yes, because this, while it's a lizard, some people might classify it as a farm animal, mainly because of their poop is very similar to the hideous smell of cow manure.
It is.
And it might carry a little bit.
I mean, they graze like cows.
And they do graze like cows. But they are somewhat exotic, and I was concerned that would raise someone's red flag and force us to move. Of course, we're not getting rid of the tortoises.
And we just
moved in. We've been here,
so
a year and a
like,
half.
Oh, no.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So, that
I mean, we did read the HOA restrictions. There was nothing specifically mentioned.
They did not call
tortoises.
out sulcata tortoises specifically.
They did not. Yeah. Although my husband seems to think that they
definitely excluded pigs.
Won't be able to get a pig.
No, that is definitely a farm.
I really want to get a pig.
That's not happening.
Please.
Okay. we have the 3-to-1 ratio we discussed though.
Oh,
three motorcycles to one pig.
Only if that pig is a 200-pound pig.
They're all baby.
There
aren't small pigs.
No small pigs.
Yeah, they all get big.
I can't even imagine a pig trying to get in through the dog door.
No, we'd have to have one of those those Dutch doors that have the cut in half.
Oh yeah. Well, not only that, but I don't know. It could be a pro because we could have the pig clean up after the tortoises. So
but
tortoises
who's gonna
make the manure?
Who's going to clean up after the pig?
I know. The tortoises, it's a circle
of life.
Yeah,
we don't want those vet bills once they have digestion problems. But the kids went over, and our son, he was sore afterwards, but he carried.
And he's not a small kid.
He's a big fella.
He's at the time he was not quite 20, and he's
over 200 pounds,
6 foot. Maybe just shy of 6 feet and over 200 pounds. So,
but you carry something at a time. She was probably 60 pounds at the time, and she's not easy to carry. It's not like they have handles.
Well, they couldn't figure out how to get her home, and it's only 3 houses down. Still, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But tortoises are very stubborn.
Yes.
And it's not like, what are you going to do? Put a leash on her and try to bring her home, haul her home? So they had to keep picking her up and turning her and then getting her to walk straight, and then she would wander off again, and they'd pick her up and turn her again.
Yeah, it's like a 60-pound toddler that won't do what you want.
Why don't you tell everybody what there is a way that you can bring them home.
So there are people called tortoise turners. That is a herder of tortoises. I know
can't believe that they actually have a name for this.
And you basically have a stick that you tap them just on the rear end, that bottom chute there. You can just kind of tap it, and they don't like that.
They do not.
So if you keep tapping them, it'll annoy them enough that they'll lunge forward, and then you keep correcting their angle. So they'll lunge forward and they'll walk faster.
Yeah.
So that they get the message that you want them to move. And they don't like it at all. But
no, I don't imagine so.
And it doesn't really cause, I mean, the stick I use is just like a soft wood or rubber,
nothing
it's
hard.
not something that's going to do them. And
you're not hitting them.
No, you're tapping.
Just a tap.
Yeah. It's almost like someone tapping your shoulder. It gets annoying after a while. Yeah. So that does work. It's just that when you're trying to go, for me, I'm trying to move them about 3 feet. So that's when I tap. I need you to be here.
We were moving them longer than a football field.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
a little longer.
3 doors down. Not quite. Maybe half a football field.
Oh, I think more than that. But so they.
In our next episode, Kiki and Cowboy will
measure it.
We'll
measure be so exciting
using tortoises.
Yeah. But the little kids at the neighborhood, they took care of her very well.
They did.
They fed her watermelon.
They're due a visit.
So
we'll bring them to her.
Yeah. Oh my
not
gosh.
the other way around.
No. Absolutely.
So that's our wandering tortoise
so Dot's big adventure, and what's happened since. So
we switched.
She came back.
Yes,
and she was put in timeout.
She was put in timeout, as in I switched their habitat, so she's on the side that does not have a gate.
Because I think at the same time, Dash.
Oh, I think it was the neighbor's dogs who dug under the fence.
Yes, but
to get to him.
on that side of the yard, there are some very large dogs.
Yes.
And we came back, and not only had Dot escaped, but it looked like Dash had dug a hole to China under the fence, and it had been
put a cinder block. Yeah, he put a cinder
up.
block down in there.
Yeah, because he's got some dogs that he definitely doesn't want to get
they're
out.
Biters. But it looks like they had dug, and so what I did is I put chicken wire along that to keep him from.
Yes,
I think he was scraping against the wall and drove the dogs crazy, so they started.
It might have, That's an interesting thing for another.
But now
another
Dot goes
time,
nowhere near that because of the chicken wire.
Yeah.
So we've got there will be more misadventures.
Not only that, but now you also have dog tags on them.
I do. I use some special like
Marine.
Yeah,
It's a marine.
It's a marine glue that's
glue
right in the middle of the non-growing area of the rear chute that says, "Hello, my name is Dot, and literally says I'm lost. Please call." And whatever, and so it has my
your
phone number, yeah,
and
it's
and we have yet to mount the other.
Kiki bought me these really neat QR codes that they need to go through a little loop, so I need to put that through the dog tag. If you scan the QR code, it notifies me immediately that it's been scanned and approximately, if it's on Wi-Fi, where. So if it was half a mile away, I'd know that that's approximately where, and it gives the user, whoever scanned the QR code, the ability to communicate with me.
Yeah.
Send me a picture.
Yeah, and we thought that would be
that is super awesome.
Wise,
Yeah.
although we haven't gotten around to actually doing it. So
Yeah,
maybe
that
after the next
that was
adventure.
a Christmas gift, and it's June. So we move. I'm just saying we move on tortoise time.
Maybe we do.
Yes,
maybe we do.
Maybe so. They don't make noises, otherwise that would be our transition sound. Instead, we're stuck with cows.
Well, that's good to know.
Until then. Well, this has been another wonderful episode of the Misadventures.
Wow.
What is wrong with me, Kiki? Well, you should take the lead here.
Oh, I'm enjoying listening
fair.
to you be tongue-tied.
So to our listener out there, we hope you're feeling well, and this is a shout out to you. We think about you a lot.
Our OG listener.
And we appreciate you listening to this episode of Misadventures with
Kiki
and Cowboy.
Love you all.
Music, take us away.